We had nothing. I had one hat. If I lost that hat, I was a goner. There was no way to match up to anything else. So what I did is I took my wardrobe home at night. I took it back to the hotel. I took the hat and the poncho, which we only have one of. The stuff that I brought over had triplicate, but the stuff we bought over there, we didn't.
Hello everyone! What if everything you thought you knew about the good, the bad, and the ugly was only half the story? What if the silence wasn't just cool, it was survival? What if the stare that made Clint Eastwood a legend wasn't even acting? For decades, fans have worshipped the film's grit, glory, and mystery, but now, at last, Eastwood is revealing the hidden truth about near-fatal stunts, secret tensions, and the chaos behind the camera. This isn't just Hollywood history, it's a revelation. Get ready to see the film in a way you never have before. Because the real story is finally out. When people think of the good, the bad, and the ugly, one image comes to mind. Clint Eastwood's squint, that steely, silent gaze beneath the brim of a weather-beaten hat. But few fans know that look wasn't acting, it was necessity. Filmed under the unforgiving heat of the Spanish sun, in the arid plains of Tabernas, Eastwood found himself squinting simply to survive. There were no modern lighting filters or digital tricks to soften the blow. It was just sun, sand, and scorching light, and Sergio Leone, the film's visionary director, loved it. That squint wasn't in the script, it became the script. It turned into a character-defining choice that forever fused Eastwood's face with cinematic cool. But the silence wasn't just in the stare, it was in the entire performance. Early versions of the script had almost no dialogue for Blondie, Eastwood's mysterious character. Leone believed in atmosphere over exposition. Eastwood agreed, but only after cutting down lines he thought were unnecessary. The less he says, the more dangerous he feels, Clint once remarked. That philosophy shaped Blondie into something new, a man who revealed nothing, and in doing so, revealed everything. The tension between Eastwood's desire to give Blondie some moral depth and Leone's nihilistic vision created something rare, a hero who wasn't really a hero, just the best man in a world of scoundrels. While Eastwood played the quiet loner, someone else was stealing the show. Eli Wallach as Tuco, from his very first scene, wild-eyed, hysterical. With a mouth full of insults, Tuco exploded off the screen with a chaotic brilliance no one saw coming. What was supposed to be a secondary character began to eclipse the leads, and no one noticed it faster than Eastwood himself. Wallach was unpredictable, expressive, and full of contradictions, gritty yet caring, brutal yet broken. His performance gave the film emotional depth that stretched beyond the usual Western archetypes. The contrast between Eastwood's cold restraint and Wallach's manic energy became the soul of the film. Eastwood admitted later that Tuco was the real engine of the film, calling Wallach a scene-stealing son of a gun. Off camera, the two weren't close. Eastwood was reserved. Wallach, a seasoned New York stage actor, was more outgoing. But their differences worked. Their chemistry wasn't forced, it was elemental. And while Tuco provided many of the film's laughs and tears, Eastwood held the silence. One man raged while the other observed. It wasn't hero and sidekick, it was balance, yin and yang, gunslinger and madman. Some fans even argue the film should have been titled Tuco and the Other Two, and honestly, they may have a point, but filming this classic wasn't all artistry and brilliance, it was chaos. The production was plagued by accidents, miscommunications, and danger. Eastwood himself called it pure madness. Shot in remote areas of Spain, the crew battled heat stroke, exhaustion, and total lack of safety protocols. During one scene, Wallach nearly lost his life. His character, handcuffed to a corpse, was supposed to duck a speeding train, but the train came within inches of decapitating him. Had he lifted his head even slightly, he wouldn't have survived. Another time, he drank from a bottle filled with acid instead of water. Somehow, he lived. And through all this, no stunt double, no safety officer, just guts. Even the famous bridge explosion, a critical and expensive scene, nearly ruined the film due to a communication breakdown between Leone and the special effects crew. The bridge was blown up before the cameras were rolling. Eastwood was furious. The crew had to rebuild the entire structure, costing days and thousands of dollars. But ironically, that delay gave the cast time to stew. Tension built, and when filming resumed, that tension poured onto the screen. Sometimes madness makes the art real. And yet, it wasn't just physical chaos. The cultural divide between the Italian director and the American actors added another layer of confusion. Leone didn't speak English, Eastwood didn't speak Italian. Directions were passed through translators in mime. Leone would give grand, operatic instructions. Waving his arms like a composer, Eastwood, ever minimalist, didn't know what to make of it, but the strange dance between these two men created a cinematic language all its own. Despite all this, the production moved forward. And hidden in the film's dust were moments of spontaneous genius. Take the legendary graveyard scene. It's considered one of the most stunning finals in film history, but much of it improvised. The circular tombstones, the camera spinning movement, even Blondie's subtle cigar flick, none of that was in the script. Eastwood has since revealed that many of his choices were made on the fly. Less movement, fewer gestures, just stillness. Let the camera speak. And that costume, that worn, dirty poncho. Eastwood wore it in all three of the Dollars trilogy films and never washed it, not once. It was a deliberate choice to preserve continuity, texture, and authenticity. You don't get that kind of detail from wardrobe departments. You get it from someone who understands that audiences can sense fake even when they don't know why. Then came the scandal. In May 2025, Austrian newspaper Courier published a supposed exclusive interview with Clint Eastwood. In it, Clint allegedly blasted modern Hollywood, remakes, CGI overload, and called out the death of storytelling. It was juicy, clickable, and completely fake. Within days, the quotes were everywhere, reposted by major outlets, debated on forums, and treated like gospel, but Eastwood had never spoken to Courier. His representatives called the piece phony. It was a cobbled-together Frankenstein's monster of old quotes, pulled from decades of press conferences and interviews. The journalist, Elizabeth Serrata, had manufactured the entire thing. Courier retracted the article and fired her, but by then, the internet had already taken it and run. What made the story believable was that the quotes sounded like something Clint might say. He's always been skeptical of franchise bloat and soulless blockbusters, but what people missed is that Eastwood never yells about these things. He reflects carefully, thoughtfully. That's his power. In a digital age that rewards outrage, Clint chooses precision and silence. In real interviews, like one with the New York Times, Eastwood explained his philosophy. If the story's good, he said, you don't need to blow everything up. That's why films like Gran Torino, $1 Million Baby, and Mystic River work. They rely on emotion, not explosions. He's called filmmaking the art of restraint, and he lives that mantra. One or two takes, small crews, no indulgence, keep it real. That's the Eastwood way. He's not bitter. He's not stuck in the past. Clint Eastwood doesn't reject modern cinema. He rejects what's hollow. He praised Joker for its bold, unapologetic storytelling. He respects filmmakers like Christopher Nolan, calling him a guy who still takes chances. To Eastwood, it's never been about resisting change. It's about resisting emptiness. The heart of cinema, he believes, is still the same: story, character, and emotional truth. And with his latest film, Juror No. 2, he's still proving it. No superheroes, no CGI spectacles. Just raw, honest drama about flawed people and impossible situations. That's what he fights to protect. Even the good, the bad, and the ugly, for all its grandeur, was built moment by moment. It wasn't shot in order. Scenes were shuffled. Eastwood often had to channel the final transformation of his character before even filming the events that shaped it. That's no small feat. But he delivered with a performance that felt like it had lived 100 lives in silence. That's what made Blondie unforgettable. A man carrying unspoken burdens, haunted by what we never saw, and elevated by what he never said. And through all of it, through chaos, tension, and even media betrayal, Clint Eastwood stayed grounded. He never chased controversy. He never chased headlines. When a fake interview spread like wildfire, misquoting him and fueling clickbait outrage, he didn't explode. He denied it once, clearly, and then got back to what he does best: telling stories that mean something in a world addicted to noise. Eastwood's silence still speaks the loudest. The good, the bad, and the ugly wasn't just a movie. It was a storm of improvisation, danger, and raw creative force. And Clint Eastwood wasn't just an actor. He was the calm eye at the center of the storm, a man who rewrote the rules of what a Western hero could be, not with noise, but with stillness, not with answers, but with a stare that saw too much and said just enough to survive. Decades later, fans still debate what Blondie was thinking in that final scene, and Eastwood, he won't say. He never has, because legends don't explain themselves. They just walk off into the sunset and let the silence do the talking. If this blew your mind, just wait till you hear what else Hollywood's been hiding, like subscribe, and drop a comment below. What did you miss the first time watching? Stay tuned for more untold stories behind the legends of cinema. Thanks for watching.